So today we're doing mission 1. We're starting a new unit. We're going to look at cylinders today. A cylinder is a shape that is round but has some height or some depth to it. So all of these examples here are cylinders. So a cylinder is area, area is flat. Cylinders have volume, which is like stacked area. So for example, like all of these pennies make up the area of this whole cylinder. If we wanted to know how much water is in this cylindrical or circular shaped fish tank, we would be looking for the volume of the cylinder. So your formula sheet that you'll be given when you take, for example, your MCA test will say this: the volume of a cylinder is base times height. Well, the B is a big B and not like a little b. This would be like the length of a base. They're looking for the area of the base. So the area of the circle is really what they're looking for. So I replace that B with this formula for the area of a circle. So if we know the area of the bottom or the top of our cylinder, we can multiply it by the height of the cylinder, whatever the height of our cylinder is, to find the volume. So let's take a look at an example. A cylinder has a base of 32 inches squared and a height of 12 inches. What's the volume of the cylinder? So they're actually telling us the area of the base. So they're telling us here, using this formula, volume equals base times height. They told us the area of this entire circle is 32 inches squared. I know it's an area because it's inches squared. If it was just 32 inches, that would be like a length. And then it says the height is 12 inches. So like this side would be 12 inches. So this is really the area of the base down here. So that's 32 times our height, which is 12. And that will give us the volume of the cylinder. So we have 32 times 12, and we get 314. Now we're talking about inches, and we already had inches squared. That means there's 2 inches. It's a two-dimensional shape. But if we're multiplying by inches again, it's really inches to the power of 3. This is why we call this a three-dimensional shape, because there's 3 dimensions: length times width times height, or in this case, area of the base times the height. Next, find the volume of a cylinder with a radius of 8. So they're telling us the radius here is 8. Remember, radius is just to the middle. And a height of 14 inches. So in this case, the area of our base, we don't know, so we need to use the formula for the area of a circle. Our base is a circle. And just like I told you over here, the area of a circle is really pi times radius squared. So here we're going to plug in pi times radius squared, and whatever we get, we're still multiplying by our height. So our radius is 8. So we have pi times 8 squared times our height, which is 14. If you don't have a graphing calculator or like TI-30 calculator, whatever calculators we have in class, you can just do this on a regular calculator. I'm going to do 8 to the power of 2 first, which is 8 2 times. 8 times 8. And then I'm going to multiply by pi, which is really 3.14. This is all multiplication, so it really doesn't matter what order we multiply in. And then also multiplying by 14. And that's going to give me my volume. So the volume of this cylinder is 2,813.44, and we're talking about inches. So inches, just inches cubed to the power of 3. Alright, so this one, if you did plug it in your calculator, you could have used the pi button and then hit times 8 to the power of 2, little x squared button, and then times 14. That will give you the same answer. Let's look at the back side. It says, how much soup will the can hold? We're looking for volume, how much soup is inside. So we want the area of the base times the height. Remember, this is the area of the base, which is a circle. So our formula for a circle is pi times radius squared times our height. And this 1 inch is actually just our radius right here. So r is 1. And our height is 4. So we're going to figure out how many square inches there are, or cubic inches of soup are in the can. So if I'm going to plug this in my calculator, if I wanted to expand this, I could write 3.14 times 1 times 1, because 1 squared is 1, 2 times 4. I will give you the same answer. Or plug it in just like it's written. 4 times 4 gives me a volume of 12.56. We're talking about inches, and we're looking at a three-dimensional shape, inches cubed, because we did inches times inches times inches. All right. Last question. This one we're going to have to think about. It says you buy the 2 candles shown below. Which candle contains more wax? So we're going to solve each of these to find the volume of each one, and then decide which candle has more wax. So remember, area of the base times the height. Area of the base times the height. Same thing, area of the base is a circle, pi r squared. If you don't need to write this one, that's fine, because we know the area of a base is a circle, pi times radius squared times the height. So this first one, be careful, this is the diameter, so the diameter is 4. Remember, the diameter of a circle goes all the way across, and our radius goes to the middle. So if our diameter is 4, our radius is 2. So we have pi times 2 squared times our height, which is 10. Again, you could plug this whole thing right in your calculator. I'm going to do it step by step. It's 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4, times pi, which is 3.14, times 10. And I got a volume of 125.6. And we're talking about inches, so inches cubed. And I used, like I said, for pi, I used 3.14, but it is okay to use the pi button as well. Alright, next, similar candle. This one's a little bit shorter, a little bit wider as well. 6 is our diameter. If our diameter is 6, our radius is 3. So when we plug this in, pi times 3 to the power of 2 times our height, which is 5. So remember, 3 to the power of 2 is 3 2 times if you don't have the power of 2 button. So 3 times 3 times 3.14 times 5. And I get a volume of 141.3 inches cubed. So which candle contains more wax? This one contains 125.6, and this one contains 141.3. So your answer would be the shorter candle. Or the candle on the right, or something to show how you know which one has more wax. Alright, your homework is kind of a puzzle. You have to answer these 2 questions by solving each of the cylinders. Make sure to read your directions. It does tell you to use 3.14 for pi. There is not a lot of space to do your work, so you can do your work on the back side or along the sides here or something if possible.